we have some fun and exciting new books to share with you. So, let's start reading. Our first book is The Ugliest Monster in the World. Are you guys ready for that, to meet the ugliest monster in the world? Dare I even open up this book? Well, let's dive in. The Ugliest Monster in the World by Louis Amavisca. Ooh, he is pretty ugly. But let's see if he's the ugliest. Hello, I'm the ugliest monster in the world. Ooh, he is pretty ugly. No way. I'm the ugliest monster in the world. He is pretty ugly, too. Look at me. Look how ugly I am with this hat and coat. Well, once you see me in this wig, you'll be horrified. Yeah, baby. Oh, he is pretty ugly. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, we have another ugly monster. This is becoming a competition. We're trying to decide who's the ugliest monster in the whole wide world. It's me, right? He is pretty ugly. Well, you are very ugly, but actually, I'm the ugliest monster in the world. Wow. He just might be. Look at that face. Phew. That's not true. Look at these googly eyes and these big bushy eyebrows. Hey, how about me? Look at all this fur. I can't even see my underwear. Well, what if we uncover the mirror to see who's the ugliest? Ooh, that's one way of doing it. Should they take the cloth off the mirror? Let's see. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and... Ah! Looks like they scared themselves. They did. They passed out. They were just so ugly. Wow, that was scary. Terrifying, but at least now we know, without a doubt, the three of us are the ugliest monsters in the world. I think I'll agree with them without a doubt. And that's the ugliest monster in the world.
Okay, so our next story is going to be Do Cats Moo by Selena Yoon. Do cats moo? Do cats chow? All I know is that cats go meow. Do pups hoot? Do pups hark? All I know is that pups go bark. Do hamsters spell or do hamsters squeak? All I know is that hamsters go squeak. Do birds sip or do birds slurp? All I know is that birds go chirp. Do goldfish grab? Do goldfish grub? All I know is that a goldfish goes glub. Do bunnies woof? Do bunnies whiff? All I know is that bunnies go sniff. Do hedgehogs sniffle or do hedgehogs snuffle? All I know is that hedgehogs go snuffle. And do turtles mish or do turtles mash? All I know is that a turtle goes splish splash. I hear animals all around. Let's find out who's making all that sound.
Oh, excuse me. I was just to take a bite out of this delicious looking apple. It is apple season, by the way. Time for apple pie, apple fritters, eating apples right off the tree, visiting the apple orchard and filling up your basket with apples. Well, let's find out how to grow an apple pie by Beth Charles. The year Sophie was born, her parents planted 6 new apple trees in the orchard just for her. When you're 6, you can use the apples from these trees to make your own pie, they said. And every year on her birthday, Sophie asked about her trees. No apples yet, her parents told her. You have to wait, says Mom. Won't be long now, said Dad. 1 more year, said Sophie. Finally, the day arrived. Today I'm 6, Sophie sang on her birthday morning. The trees are old enough, and so am I. Time to get working on my apple pie. First, the trees need pruning, said Dad. Can I help? Sophie pulled on her new work gloves. While Dad trimmed the branches, she made neat piles. How will pruning make my apples grow? Apples need sunshine, said Dad. Wait, and you'll see. Sophie waited. While the snow melted, she colored with her favorite red crayon. When the ground thawed, she made mud pies. And when the grass turned green, she practiced cartwheels. Finally, tight green buds began popping out on her tree. She waited some more as they slowly turned red, then pink, until one spring day they burst into sweet-smelling white blossoms. Now, will my trees have apples? First, the beekeeper must bring us hives so the bees will pollinate them, said Mom. Can I help? Sophie was up early the next morning, helping direct the beekeeper as he unlocked the hives of sleepy bees. Sophie waited for the bees to wake up and do their job. The day turned cold and windy, and the bees stayed in their hives. Mom said, bees don't like the wind and cold. Raindrops pitter-pattered against the hives, and the bees refused to come out. Bees don't like rain either, said Sophie. Sophie sighed, wondering if the bees liked any kind of day. The next morning, Sophie woke to a perfect bee-flying day. Time to help, she said. She flitted and fluttered while the busy bees buzzed from tree to tree, picking up pollen on their furry coats and carrying it from blossom to blossom throughout the orchard. On rainy days, Sophie and the bees both stayed indoors. But on bee-flying days, Sophie zipped and zinged through the trees until the last blossom petals fell, leaving only their browning centers behind. Then the beekeeper took the bees away, and Sophie waited some more. She rode her bike while green bulges swelled behind the blossom centers. She ate popsicles as the tiny apples grew fatter with the summer rain. Now, she saw that where she and Dad had pruned branches to let in the sun, the apples were beginning to turn red. One September day, Sophie took a crunchy, juicy bite of an apple. Now, it must be time to bake my pie. Yes, said Dad, as soon as I pick the apples. I'm going to help. Sophie ran to get her new picking bucket and ladder. Don't shake the branch or apples will fall, said Dad. Squeezing will bruise the apple, and never pull. Turn your apples upside down. Sophie wasn't sure she could remember all the apple picking rules. But when she turned the bottom of her apple to the sky, it came off without shaking, without pulling, or bruising. Sophie brought her fresh picked apples into the kitchen. She looked from the apples to the oven. Now I know how to grow apples, but I don't know how to bake an apple pie. We can help, said Mom and Dad. Together they peeled and sliced the apples. They measured, they mixed, they rolled out the pie crust. Sophie filled the crust with apple slices, sprinkled in sugar and spices, and sealed it with a top crust. Then into the oven it went. I can smell that apple pie already. Sophie set the timer, then sat down to wait, and wait, and wait, and ding! I think it's ready. Apple pie is best when you grow it yourself. And just look at that apple pie. It looks absolutely delicious. I bet you feel a hankering for a slice of apple pie right now yourself, don't you?
And our last story is Roy Digs Dirt by David Shannon. Roy digs dirt. He digs dirt before breakfast and after lunch, and before and after dinner. Dirt makes Roy happy, and Roy is almost always happy because he's almost always dirty. Roy sits in dirt and he lies in dirt, and sometimes he even rolls in the dirt. Roy digs dirt. Roy thinks dirt makes him look very handsome. Roy likes to bury things in dirt. He buries balls, sticks, his chew toys, squeaky toys, bones, rocks, leaves, pieces of bark and rawhide, and twisties. Sometimes he just buries more dirt in the dirt because Roy digs dirt. Sometimes Roy finds buried treasure in the dirt, and buried treasure is very exciting. Roy eats the dirt, he sniffs the dirt, watches the dirt, and even listens to the dirt. Worms and bugs hide in the dirt, but not for long when Roy is around. Roy's imaginary friend even lives in the dirt too. He plays with it and talks with it. Roy named his imaginary friend Roy. The only bad thing about dirt is the ants. Roy does not like ants. When it rains, Roy digs mud. Mud might be even better than the dirt. Mud is like dirt gravy. Roy does not dig baths. Baths are the opposite of dirt. When there isn't any dirt, Roy digs rugs. He digs blankets when he's in bed, and he digs newspapers when he's very mad. Roy doesn't like being away from his dirt, so he digs at the back door. The jungle grows out of the dirt in the backyard. The dirt in the jungle is moist and it smells good too. Roy likes to explore that jungle, and it's a good place to hide and pounce. Critters come to the jungle when it gets dark, and Roy barks, "Get away from my dirt!" Roy digs barking at these critters. But tonight, there's a skunk in the jungle. Now Roy's dirty and stinky. Did I mention Roy doesn't like getting a bath? At night, Roy digs in his sleep, and every morning he runs outside to see if his dirt is still there. It's the same dirt, but it seems brand new to Roy. The whole world is built on top of dirt, and Roy digs the world. If you enjoyed these stories and want to hear some more, feel free to come to our preschool story time hosted by the Children's Room every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. And also, stop on by the Children's Room to get some of these books and a lot of other great titles.